O hidden light, shining in
light,
every creature.
O hidden light, shining in every creature.
O hidden love, embracing all in oneness.
O hidden love, embracing all in oneness.
May each who feels himself as one with thee
May each who feels himself as one with thee,
know he is also one with every other.
so he is also one with every other.
Shanti, Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
We welcome you all in the Saturday evening meeting of Shankar Lodge, Delhi, this 27th day of November 2021. Today, Brother B.D. Tendulkar, national lecturer, will share his thoughts on the topic Is Theosophy a Religion? An important topic for members of the Theosophical Society since Theosophy has to be lived practically. Brother B.D. Tendulkar has completed LLB and thereafter did his MA from Tata Institute of Social Studies. He has been visiting faculty for MBA and also worked as director in charge of SOS Village for orphan children. So we see he has been in area of service for a long time. It is also evident that Brother Tendulkar has also served through Theosophical Society and he has been the president as well as secretary of Maharashtra Theosophical Federation. He has also been national lecturer duly appointed by Indian section for last several years. Now, without taking any more time, I now request Brother Tendulkar ji to please share his thoughts on the topic, Is Theosophy a Religion? Brother Tendulkar ji.
Thank you, Brother Rajiv and the office bearers of the Shankar Lodge for giving this opportunity to express my views on the topic today. Is Theosophy a religion? Theosophy is Theosophical Society is in existence for the last almost 1.5 century. And this question has been raised by Madame H.P. Blavatsky during her lifetime only. And she has also answered to that question, simply saying Theosophy is not a religion, but Theosophy is a religion itself. Now it is for us to perhaps go a little deeper and try to understand what she meant by this statement. Theosophy has been formed with an object to bring together the people who were interested in universal brotherhood. That was the first object of the Theosophical Society, to form a nucleus of universal brotherhood. Religions of the world also are for the purpose of bringing men together. Religion creates a bond among its followers to bring them together with some common understanding. Every religion has its own teachings, its own beliefs. and the followers follow them. It's not just bringing men together. That is a common thread, keeping all followers together. It is for their spiritual progress. What is again meant by spiritual progress? Progress is generally the material progress which people can easily understand. But when we talk of spiritual progress, we have to first understand ourselves. The founders of the religion have many times told their followers, know thyself. So this understanding of the self is very important, rather very crucial. If the religion has to serve its purpose. And therefore, that religion serves its purpose, which enables its followers to know themselves, to know their essential nature, to know their constitution. What man really is in essence. Theosophy has taught us 7 principles of man that points to the constitution of man, not just as he appears to be as a person, but much more than that. Man as a person has a body, and as we experience, we have sensations, emotions, we can think. So these are the counterparts which make a man, the whole man. Apart from this, the religion points to this essential nature of man, which is the spiritual nature of man. Religion points to the divine nature of man. Religion also points to the relation of man to the universe. Just as man has a divine nature, or man has its counterparts apart from his physical body in the subtler worlds, similarly the universe also has subtler counterparts. So man has to understand himself in relation to himself as well as in relation to the universe. which is composed of several worlds apart from the physical worlds. And religions generally talk of the existence of man in this world and also in the other worlds, which are invisible and generally which followers of the religion believe in as per the teachings of that religion. So the followers generally believe in these teachings, not necessarily they experience or realize the truth of the statements. So more or less it comes to blind belief. Which means believing things without experiencing, without realization, and that gradually leads to many kinds of blind beliefs, superstitions, which in the course of time turns into various kind of dogmas, creeds, etc. And in this development, it's not really a development, but rather deterioration of the system. In this process, the very purpose of the religion is lost, which is to know thyself. Man has to understand himself, to realize himself in terms of his essential nature, in terms of his real capacities, potentials, powers, which are more or less in the seed form, not yet have found their expression in his living. And the task of a religion is to enable him to understand those powers, those potentials, and to help him, to guide him, to develop them and to realize them. And for that, religion prescribes certain discipline, certain way of living, put certain guidelines, certain restrictions, limitations. And all these form what we call a religion for the follower of that religion. Generally, when a religion is found by the founder, we notice, if we study the history of the religions, that the founders don't found the religion. They only appear and perhaps set an example before the people how to live a religious life, how to live a pure life. And their example spreads a message of what the essential nature of man is. People gather around them, people learn from their life, people listen to them, follow them, get inspired, get influenced, and under that influence and inspiration, they experience the exploration of those hidden potentials. They realize the greatness or the divinity on the person. Religion is generally not found during the lifetime of the founder, but the followers establish it later on just to keep the followers together under the umbrella of that institution, to ensure the continuity of the message given by the original founder. It is the living divinity of man which the religion tries to continue even after his passing away, so that it serves as a nucleus for the following generations to come together to draw that influence, that inspiration to live a life which is not just life of ordinary person, day-to-day living for enjoying the pleasures of life, but they want to really develop their divine nature. And this continues as long as the persons who are heading the institution live the life, live the teachings of the founder, not just in a literal way, but in spirit. It is only those who have developed their hidden potentials, their intuitive capacities, and who can lead that institution to guide and inspire the followers. But at stage come in the evolution of the religion also, and religion also passes through various stages. And they come to growth, then stability, then there is stagnation, and then there is decline. And it is this stage which indicates that at certain point of time, religion ceases to exist for the purpose for which it was established. The religion then becomes a dead institution, a dogma, it is taken over by the priesthood rather than the real followers of the religions, and therefore the original religion, which is esoteric in nature, turns into an exoteric religion. The following of the procedures, rites, traditions assume importance. What remains is more like a skeleton or flesh without life. To hold the followers together for the survival of the institution rather than for the spiritual advancement of the followers. And therefore, HPB had to specifically point out that Theosophy is not a religion. It is the religion itself, which means it is the essence of religion. It is the, in other words, said, cornerstone of the future religions. We can also say it is the substratum of all religions, without which religions really do not and cannot exist. The life of religion is the seeking of truth. Satyam nasti paro dharmaha. That is the statement which Theosophical Society has adopted as its emblem or logo, to remind all the time that this institution is for seeking the truth and nothing but truth. So it should not be forgotten by the society as a whole and by members as individuals that we are here together to seek the truth and truth alone. And this seeking of the truth can come only by keeping in mind all the time our essential nature, which is a spiritual nature or divine nature. It is not the nature of our physical body, the flesh, or the thinking mind, our sensations and emotions, but it is something transcendental to them, beyond them, much more subtler and the highest principle of man, without which perhaps man is not much different from the animal. We have an animal soul, and through evolutionary stages, it gets transformed into divine. And that transformation is the purpose of religion. And in case of Theosophy, it is not the natural transformation through the slow process of following ordinary kinds of religious instructions, but to enable the individual to take his progress in his own hands, knowing his real nature. And this exercise of individual progress is at the same time not for the individual alone, but all his brothers. In fact, it is for him as a member of the whole of humanity. Whatever he does not only for himself, but for all belonging to the human race. And if we can understand this, perhaps we can also understand that it's not only limited to humanity, but to all other kingdoms as well. Animal kingdom, plant kingdom, and so on. So our spiritual progress is linked with this evolutionary process which embraces all, not only human beings, but animals, plants, minerals, everything, because it is one life. Other religions perhaps don't insist on this aspect of the reality of one life, one existence, which perhaps some statements to that effect, without much insistence on living life with that understanding of unity of life. Living not for oneself but for others. In following religious rite, generally man's mentality or approach is to win spiritual advancement for himself. There is little consideration of advancement of others. Even perhaps there is very little awareness or understanding that progress of one man contributes to the progress of others simultaneously, because it is one life. And the contrary is also true. If one does not live life in the right way, if one does not follow the rules of spiritual progress or the scheme of evolution, then one becomes an obstacle in the progress of the whole of humanity. This understanding, which is an essential part of the living of a theosophist, makes a distinction of theosophy as religion itself and not a religion. And that forms the substratum or the cornerstone of all future religions of the world. Many religions have come and gone. Many are still surviving. But survival is not the purpose that keeps the wheel moving. But it is not just unending journey or compulsory pilgrimage that we are into a religion and following a religion. We have to understand the purpose of this pilgrimage. And we have to come to a point where the compulsion ends and one becomes totally free of that compulsion. That is the point where man takes his destiny in his own hands. And that should be the purpose of the religion. To what extent we as theosophists have appreciated this and have made sincere efforts to try to live life in that spirit. We have to, as members of the theosophy, live theosophy, not just study theosophy. And that living starts by exploring ourselves, our own hidden potentials and capacities, following the spiritual disciplines. Therefore, we have to make this clear distinction that theosophy, when we say is religion or the religion, we refer to that not as the outward appearance of religion or exoteric religion, which consists of various kinds of rites, various kinds of traditions, karma kand, worships, idolatry, beliefs, including blind beliefs and superstitions. In fact, this blind following has no place in religion. Man has to be vigilant all the time about what he is doing, why he is doing, in what capacity he is doing, or what role he is playing while leading his life. He may be living in the physical world, but he has to be aware all the time that this physical world is not all where his life ends. It continues in its counterparts, which are subtler, and perhaps after physical death, that is the only reality that exists. But this has to be realized during the tenure of the physical life itself. To become aware of this reality to develop that kind of sensitivity is perhaps the purpose of the religion. Theosophical Society was founded when the influence of the religion, so-called religions, exoteric religions, on the humanity declined to a considerable extent due to the blind following of the religious teachings, religious scriptures. And at the same time, the dominance of the material science, which guided man towards his material progress, forgetting the other aspects, which are in fact much more important in progress of a man, in advancement of a man, in the other spheres, psychic and spiritual, emotional. It is the total growth, all-rounded, simultaneous, harmonious, which is aimed at through religion. And theosophy is expected to serve that purpose, to guide a man towards this all-round development, all-round growth of personality, of individuality, of spirituality. And that requires more and more awareness of the intimate connection of religion with philosophy and science. Otherwise, religion in isolation or science in isolation will lead to partial growth, partial advancement, creating a kind of destability, instability in the living of man, leading to many kinds of imbalances, disturbances, and the healthy and total growth will suffer from many obstacles. Unless we come to a totality of understanding of our growth and development into the perfect man. It's a long process, but it has to be achieved through smaller acts in day-to-day life. And religion serves that purpose of reminding man of the smaller things in life, which in the course of time lead to progression towards perfection. Perfection is not just an ideal. Perfection is a natural culmination of the harmonious growth. Natural culmination takes place only when the laws of nature are understood and observed. And that is possible only when we develop that sensitivity towards nature, only when we develop that understanding that we are not apart from nature, but we are part of nature. We are one with nature. We draw everything from the nature, and we are expected to give back to the nature in return. That's the kind of living that will lead us to perfection. But with the one-sided development of material science or the very shallow or selfish or convenient understanding of religious teachings, for our temporary progress or material progress, we have mostly either forgotten or misunderstood or misinterpreted the so-called religion. And Theosophy is there to remind us of the true religion, the place of religion in our overall development, which culminates ultimately with spiritual development, with other aspects of development as only means to an end. Therefore, they are equally important, but not as the ultimate goal, but only as a means to an end. Therefore, we have to follow these teachings with that goal in mind all the time. The goal of perfection, the goal of understanding our hidden potential and practice laid down by the religion for that growth. It may be a process of purification of our vehicles to make them more and more sensitive. A process of forgetting self, process of remembering others and living for others, expanding our horizons to embrace more and more people within our approach and consideration, our ability to serve others, our ability to sacrifice for others, and our ability to expand and grow in our consciousness. It is consciousness is a limiting factor if it is not allowed to grow. Through considerations of only concrete things. So we have to move from concrete to more subtle considerations which govern our life here and hereafter, life now and life after death. It is one continuity which religion makes us aware of all the time. If we forget that, we may be misled under an impression that this life is everything, as generally a materialist thinks, and lives only for the material progress and prosperity, and feels that that is the purpose and end of life. Theosophy comes into the picture to make man aware of these limitations, both of religion and science. Right philosophy brings them together, religion and science. Therefore, theosophy says, science is our great ally. We don't consider science as something opposed to our progress or our path. It is not an obstacle. We have to take hold of scientific progress as an aid to our spiritual progress also. Therefore, religion must be guided by science, and science must be guided by religion. If these two come together, then we can eliminate many of the byproducts which are blocking our way of progress due to following of religion in a wrong way and pursuing the science in a wrong way. Theosophy perhaps will be of great help in directing both religious leaders as well as leaders of science. Both perhaps can draw inspiration from theosophy in utilizing these two aspects of human life for the real progress of humanity. Unfortunately, perhaps we have as yet not succeeded to a very great extent in bringing these two together. We have to reorient perhaps the religions of the world and also reorient the material science. Science has to cover those aspects which are today beyond the ambit of the material science. It is slowly, no doubt, expanding its horizon. It has slowly appreciated, understood these aspects which are not solid, concrete, material. But there is not explicit consent of the agreement of the scientific community towards this kind of development to take within its ambit the deliberate advancement of man to the fields where science has hitherto kept out of its ambit. Science has to open its doors, becoming more religious and more spiritual in its outlook. It has to work for development of the hidden potentials. It has to discover the hidden laws of nature and man. So it is the process of know thyself, even for the science. In his capacity as a scientist just not committed to progress of the physical science, which ensures only the material progress. But it is the moral responsibility of the scientists as a community to ensure that science also takes care that the material progress does not adversely affect the moral, ethical, and spiritual aspects of man's development. So science has to reorient itself, giving due weightage to these aspects. How far the discoveries or inventions made by science have served this purpose, that perhaps will have to be examined again afresh in the light of knowledge that theosophy is providing us, in the light of ancient wisdom, which theosophy has brought to the surface and broadened our understanding of the subtler, of the invisible. We have to take note of all these aspects if we want to ensure the balanced overall growth of man as an individual and humanity as a whole, the mankind. Giving due justice to other kingdoms as well. The animal kingdom, the plant kingdom. We have perhaps not understood the interdependence fully of mankind on these other kingdoms. We are using them more for our own purpose. It is not just use, but it is unjust exploitation of these other species for man's progress and advancement. And that is at the cost of our moral and spiritual progress, which perhaps we have not become sensitive enough to grasp, understand, and that's why we are failing, perhaps, to anticipate in advance the fallouts of our progress, so-called material progress, in the coming years. Are we creating anything worthwhile for our future generations? Or we are creating problems for them? That is what we have to examine. And this can come not with just present methods of investigation of science. Those are very much limited to the material world. Science has to develop that intuitive understanding. The technologies which are developing as a result of scientific knowledge, do they really blessing to the mankind, or are they curse in the long run? Are we working with nature, or are we playing with the nature? Are we following the laws of nature, or are we disregarding or disobeying the laws of nature in our dealings, in our plans of material progress? Are we taking care of the sensations, the emotions, the worthy feelings of a civilized, developed man? Or are we just guided by the immediate concerns of material well-being, material comforts, frugal comforts, the so-called things which make life more enjoyable, more comfortable? Sometimes perhaps we have to sacrifice some of these ideas of temporary comforts, frugal comforts, in order to ensure long-term progress. Long-term not only to be realized in our lifetime, perhaps long-term in terms of generations coming after. Theosophy talks about new subrace, the sixth subrace, perhaps coming after a few centuries hereafter. But this insight into the progress of man should help us to prepare ourselves during these intervening centuries. Are we prepared for that? Are we changing our approach? Are we changing our values? Are we changing our lifestyles in that direction? Are we really accelerating the natural process of evolution by following the laws of nature, by following the divine plan or divine scheme? Or that is out of our sight and we are only influenced by our material progress? It will never lead to perfection, which we talk of in our golden steps. Only the overall growth in totality of all aspects, not only physical, but emotional, psychic, intellectual, all will be needed. Then only that intuitive understanding of the future will develop. Then only we will develop that insight into the human destiny. And then only we can perhaps live the life which can be referred to as a theosophic life or a religious life in the true sense. In that sense, perhaps lies the fact that theosophy is religion itself. It is nothing but the religion, not a religion. It is the common ground of all religions. It is the cornerstone of future religions. And it is the one and only religion. All other religions are only the partial expressions of that essence of religiosity. I think the time allotted for this lecture is coming to an end. Therefore, here I take a halt and hand over to the organizers for the as they may think fit. Thank you.
Thank you, brother Tendulkar ji. You have very well
Thank you.
explained in a comprehensive manner that theosophy is not a religion, but the religion itself, as we have to seek truth and truth alone. Thank you very much. किसी और ने कुछ क्वेश्चन है किसी के पास या ऐड करना है तो प्लीज करें. Hello, anybody want to add something or want to have question?
हेलो सर.
हाँ नमस्कार.
हाँ,
शीतल जी बोलिए.
नमस्कार सर.
बोलिए.
जी, तेंदुलकर जी ने बहुत अच्छे से बताया है कि फर्स्ट नो डाइसेल्फ, खुद को पहचानो.
Yes.
लेकिन फिर भी हम ये सुनते हैं, बहुत बार सुनते हैं, लेकिन कैसे पहचाने, इसके लिए भी बहुत सी चीज़ें एजुकेशन के वजह से रुक जाती है, क्योंकि हमारी तीनों बॉडीज बताने के बावजूद भी जो टेक्निकली समझाना है या समझना है उसे थोड़ा मुश्किल जाता है. लेकिन अगर हम इसे और सरल भाषाओं में इसी को इन्वाइट करते रहे तो शायद हम नो दैट सेल्फ, खुद को पहचानने के इसमें ज़्यादा अग्रसर हो सकेंगे, समझ पाएंगे खुद को. उसके लिए मेरे ख्याल से अरे एक ये मेरी सोच में आया, वो मैं बता रही हूँ, सही है या गलत है वो मैं नहीं जानती.
Yeah.
कि प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन जैसे मेडिटेशन कोर्सेस करवाना चाहिए. जैसे क्लासेस लेते हैं अभी हम ऑनलाइन, तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी सुविधा हो गई है. तो ऐसे अगर मेडिटेशन में खुद को और जानने के लिए ग्रुप मेडिटेशन लिया जाए, या कभी ये कहा जाए कि एक सप्ताह के लिए या एक महीने के लिए नॉन वेज ना खाया जाए, या क्या खाया जाए इस पे सप्ताह में बताया जाए कि भाई ये सप्ताह इसके लिए है, ये सप्ताह इसके लिए. तो धीरे धीरे लोगों को ये प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन होगा, क्योंकि खान पान और विचार आचार, इससे ही हम खुद को और समझ पाएंगे, ऐसा मुझे लगता है. शायद मैं सही हूँ या गलत तो मैं नहीं जानती.
थैंक यू शीतल गोले जी. तेंदुलकर जी कुछ
Thank you.
कहेंगे इस बारे में? हेलो मैडम, आज सवेरे भी एक हम लोग का टॉक था नेचुरोपैथी
हाँ
के
जी.
ऊपर, वसुमती जी ने लिया था, बहुत
हाँ
अच्छा.
जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
अगर
वो
आपने
मैं मिस कर रही हूँ.
अटेंड किया हो
नहीं,
तो
मिस किया है वो, मैं
हाँ.
सुनूंगी फिर से उसे.
आप सुन लेना किसी टाइम.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी. थैंक यू, थैंक यू.
थैंक यू. और किसी ने कुछ कहना है, किसी ने ऐड करना है, कोई क्वेश्चन या किसी का कुछ है? आपने बहुत अच्छी बात करी, टू नो दाई सेल्फ, ये तो है ही है मोटो, जैसा तेंदुलकर जी ने अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया पूरे अपने टॉक में. और किसी ने कुछ कहना है तो बताएं. शरण जी कुछ कहेंगे? हेलो.
Yes, brother Mathurji. Thank you. Is there still time?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very happy to be part of the proceedings which the learned speaker, Brother Tendulkar ji, has delivered today. Very scholarly talk, very inspiring. As a theosophist, I have I feel that I have some challenges before me. And that challenge is that comes out of the first object of brotherhood and the second object of comparative study of religion, philosophy and science. Now, if I look at my country today, I find that take the case of only two religions, Hinduism and Islam. The amount of gap between these two religions and the type of hatred which is increasing day by day and with the elections and votes and everything in the background, I feel very strongly as a theosophist that my country is on the fire. And I find myself that as a theosophist, I have a very big challenge how to quench this fire. And probably it is very high time that we try to understand why this type of gap is increasing between these two religions seriously every day. If I look at the TS, ever since I joined some more than 50 years ago, I have found only 2 TS members, Brother Saeed and Brother Hakim, who are prominent Muslim workers in Adyar. And there was one Brother Jaki in Calcutta who has passed away. Neither Saeed is there, he went away to Saudi, Brother Hakim passed away. And in Delhi, for example, I am associated for 32 years. I have not seen a single Muslim member till now. Probably I feel that it's very challenging before me to try to understand what Islam is and why this type of, and what as a theosophist I can do to bring this gap, which is widening day by day, to more narrower. Because if we look around the world also scenario, we find that most of the terrorists are Muslims. And as a theosophist, I can't simply close my eyes as an ostrich does in the sand and forget what is happening around. So I feel that it's very challenging. I should try to understand what Islam is. Probably we should focus to understand what Islam is. Read the book, Beauties of Islam by Dr. Besant, because we know what Hinduism is and why this hatred. What is the root cause and can something be done? Probably I find that if I have a better understanding of Islam, at least through my writings in newspapers, on YouTubes and other forums like Facebook, Instagram and other modern techniques, if I have the right understanding of Islam and I try to find out what are the beauties and what are the common factors between Hinduism and Islam, and if I try to write articles on them in the newspapers, Facebook, YouTube and that, probably I'll be doing something a little bit to remove the hatred from my country. And as it is mentioned in the Mahatma letters, if we do the little bit which we are capable of doing, probably we have done our job. So this is what I find as challenge, a big challenge before me as a member of the TS, a theosophist. How to ensure that the hatred gets reduced? Because Mahatma letters also clearly says, somebody asked the Mahatmas, why don't you come and interact with the Indians now? They said, till the time this gap between the upper people and the lower people is not reduced, there is no hope of our interacting with the people directly again. So friends, I have not much answer, but I have the challenge before me. And if the challenge is accepted in its totality as a challenge, if we accept it in totality, probably, as Krishnamurti says, if you accept the problem in totality, there will come a time when the problem itself will start revealing its secrets. What is the answer? So this is how I look at this issue and the problem. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. Probably you may think that it is totally tangential thought, but I think that it is very relevant for our country, for the social well-being, and for the harmony in the society. Thank you very much, my dear friends. Thank you, Brother Gop Mathur, for giving this opportunity. God bless you.
Thank you, Brother Sharan. I have just to add that recently one member, Abdul, has become member of Theosophical Society just recently. A few days back, his form has come and we have already sent it to the Indian section. So I don't know how far we will be able to address the problem, because that problem is there, as you perceive. Anyway, anybody want to say something or share something, or otherwise we may close the meeting if nothing is there to add or share. Rajiv? नेक्स्ट टॉक है हमारे डॉक्टर राजीव गुप्ता, सेक्रेटरी, नेक्स्ट 4 दिसंबर को, दैट विल बी एथरिक डबल। तो अभी हम लोग क्लोज करते हैं आफ्टर मे प्रेयर। असतो मां सद्गमय तमसो मां ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतम गमय। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, न कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम शांति शांति।